kind of just kind of say recalibrate some things, but now you got some picture proof.
Yeah, it was interesting in my mind, the press itself, there wasn't a lot of turnovers right away the first pass, but what a press does, it speeds you up on the other end. And we have a lot of new people that are really running those spots when we do subbing, right? And we didn't get to our spots. We didn't. We have some called press breakers, and we never run those really consistently. And so then we put ourselves in harm's way because we just deviated from our. We have 3 different press breakers that we'll do against player, and then we do a couple different ones against zone, and it really got away from us. And then when we would cross the line, we just, they really weren't coming to trap us, but we kind of let it feel like it, and we just didn't get into the offense. So their press did what they were wanting it to do, but I do think it will be great data for us. There's one thing to have your male practice squad do a press, but there's a whole nother thing to have a team with the lights on. It gives a little more credence to why we want them to cut here and like that versus what maybe is allowed. So sometimes you just have to, you got to go through it. And, especially with a team that's really trying to form together. We're just, we're a lot younger than we're older. And in times of duress, you're really going to see that come through. And, I'm thankful we could still have this type of performance, and, we were able to come away with the win. But no, the turnovers is definitely concerning, but I do think we can clean it up. I do.
Matt.
I wanted to ask about Ava for her to get her high points and rebounds for
Yeah.
her double-double. What's working so well for her from your perspective?
Well, I think she had a really shifted mindset. I think the mindset that shifted towards the end of last year, and then we really challenged her this summer because, she knew what she faced all through the Big Ten season. So you're just seeing another confident level of Ava that's chasing that next level. And, again, our post had a nice performance tonight, but it's still, they're not the biggest posts that we're going to face. But what I'm happy about is the consistency. We did that against Ashland. We did it again tonight, and we were, I thought our post play was pretty, exceptional tonight. And the fact that they were pretty clued in and doing what they knew they could do, when to do it, and where to do it. And that's been a lot of growth from Ava from last year to this year.
Kyle.
I know the big hope or maybe development over the offseason was Hannah's perimeter game, and she obviously made a 3 tonight, but the thing that I've noticed through the exhibition then tonight was her interior play. Last year you saw her efficiency go way down. It seems like she's not only making more around the basket, but she made a couple of tough shots, contested shots. Just what have you seen in terms of her ability to maybe be a little bit more efficient?
Yeah, I think we've tried to work on that this summer just to increase that finishing, and working on the 3 ball. What was she 1 for 3 tonight? But I'm glad, I'm just gonna, just want her to take it and shoot through it, right? But her versatility of her game, and I just still think around the basket, she's so stellar. And I think she's buying into that. We're playing a little bit inside, playing her, a little bit outside, and I think she just feels a little freer being able to do both. So I was happy with her performance tonight for sure.
Zach.
Jan, speaking of 3-pointers, obviously not the best 3-point
Right.
shooting night, but going forward, one, how do you intend to clean that up? And then also, do you anticipate more approaching more of the inside game as opposed to the perimeter in order to?
No, I do think tonight was an anomaly. I do stat. I stat all of our shooting drills, and I stat all of our live action. And we've never, this year I was really surprised we were 0 for 10 at the first half. I was really surprised. I don't know if we're going to be, pushing up, their crazy numbers, but that was an anomaly. I thought we got good looks in my mind, but I'll know more when I watch the tape tonight. But right now, I wouldn't say that. I think we're just all used to guard play, dazzling guard play, right, for the last couple of years. And now we're kind of, Ava and Hannah, and Layla has some good moments, is like they've kind of shored up that inside game right now. But I think it's way too soon to think we're going to shift to go one or the other. But I do think it's wise to kind of, dance to the tune that's working, right? So I thought we did a pretty good job trying to get it inside.
There was a stretch, I think, in the second quarter, you guys held them without a point for about 6 minutes, and that really opened up things for the first time. Just how much can those defensive stretches and just the defensive mindset in general take some pressure off of, if you guys don't come out necessarily
and I think,
hot right away?
I think that's a great question. I think we did play much better containment defense tonight than we did against Ashland. I was happy to see that improvement. Ashland, we led a lot, just straight line drives. I thought tonight with the team that maybe wasn't as proficient finishing in there, but we certainly contained that a lot better. I don't recall a lot of missed layups. When it got away from us, we overhelped a little bit. We were flooding tonight with our posts, and our post needed to stay just a little bit longer when they would kick it for a 3 in the corner. Our post kind of left that flood a little bit, and then she got a little deeper. And then our guard, she recovered late, but the corner wanted to help in, and then they kicked it for some of those corner threes or wing 3. But other than that, I do think our defense was pretty stealthy. So I was happy to see that. I really challenged them after Ashland. And I think, our offense is going to take a little time to catch up to where the defense is. We're trying to run a lot of different players at different times. I'm trying to figure out what combinations really work well together. And sometimes when we go with someone a little bit too long, or we're trying to get a different combination in there, I feel like that can kind of thwart what we've been doing, on top of a team that makes you just play a little muddy. And there will probably be teams that beat them by 50 or whatever, but I'm pretty sure every coaching staff is going to, when you watch the film, is like, we really didn't do the things that we wanted to do as sharply, but you're probably going to get a pretty solid win.
Hannah played her second most minutes tonight, but when you did want to spell her, it was Journey. What do you think about the way she played tonight in her first action?
Yeah, I think Journey is, she's going to keep growing. I think her trajectory is, she just got a nice motor that I like, and I'm kind of a sucker for motors. And Hannah, Journey is a little undersized, but I think what she can do with her motor, and she can hold serve. We all know, hopefully, knock on wood, Hannah will be on the floor a lot. So when it'll depend on what we need. We didn't have Tegan Mulaney's services tonight, but Tegan has been really having a nice fall too. So depending on what we need, if we need a little bit more, defense and just a little bit, different motor down low, we can go with Journey. But Tegan's got a heck of a shot, and she's got to really improve her defense. So I like that combination of what I can do. It's just unfortunate I couldn't get some experience with Tegan in these first 2. But I do love what I'm seeing from Journey.
Yeah. Jan, you referenced earlier the tough times you had against the press, and then you also, you're over 10 on offense from behind the 3-point line. Specifically with the way a lot of your first years and newcomers responded. Were you impressed with the way they responded, not just on the court, but like mentally on the bench? Here's coach is telling me this. I know the lights are bright, but I'm still locked in.
I do think that. I think there's a lot of high achievers that are kind of bummed how it ended, right? The last minute and a half was just unfortunate, right? Turnover this, turnover that. And so as a coach, you got to make sure that, they don't remember that, because they did do a lot of other things that manage that. Because it's just so, everybody can get so excited about these young kids coming in and all the new coming in, but you think about everybody that did your jobs, right? The first year you did a job, you weren't nearly as good in your first year as you were in your second year, right? And it's just gonna take a little time, and it just is, and you just can't skip the steps. And games like this, I wish we would have looked prettier. I wish it would have been a little easier from the arc. I wish the press would have been a lot better, but until you got to navigate a lot of individual minds that are, just trying to survive, and then they're trying to play within a team concept, and a lot of them, they really haven't, because they've been the one-person press breaker, right? They've been the go-to. They've been kind of everything, and now you're asking them to do all these things in a different role. So I as much as it wasn't the prettiest game, it's really going to help us. It's going to help us because they had to face a lot of annoyance, and I guess that Journey, there was something a little trash talking at the end on the line, but the kids were all talking about that in there. But that was even good, right? Because it's a whole different deal, right? It doesn't, it isn't like it was in your high school when you're usually running people by 40. So I was really pleased with, for the most part, I thought our young kids really handled it, and they tried to make the adjustments. But youth and inexperience in your system, they forgot a lot of the press breakers that we called at times, because you're just like, just give me the ball and let me try to dribble through it, and then of course you dribble into another line of defense.
I'm talking about Ava having a different mindset. What did you see from her on the court that was different than last year?
I mean, she's just so much more aggressive, and she's playing a little bit more relaxed. But her rebounding, you know, she's just more of a tenacious rebounder. You know, she was running the floor really well. You know, a team that presses you, we can't get our break going. We like to, you know, run the break. But she just has you know, she's getting to her spot to post up, and she's commanding it more. I'm telling you, one of the big things about, you know, you can help yourself, but help your team if you're just vocal. And Ava is trying to command it and getting in her spot. You know, I really been working with her, like, make sure you're understanding the angles, you know, over her time. We have been, Randy and myself, is a lot of times the post is the angles, not necessarily the first pass. It's really that second pass. And then, you know, if you get really good, you're really thinking about the third pass that might be made. But I just think she's understanding that so much better and commanding it. She's commanding it from her team, and she's really commanding a lot of attention from the opponent. Yeah.
Thanks, Jan.
Do you have one?
Yeah, just one real quick question. Chit Chat made some great plays offensively and defensively tonight. A lot of hustle out there. So I just wanted to ask, what do you see out of her game that you like the most?
I love her game. I love her game. And I think we are going to see more and more of that. Like, you know, when she had those two little nifty buckets in the second half, is, you know, I've been telling her, whenever you want to override a set, whenever you want to override a, you know, an offense that we're trying to do, is just empowering her with that, because she's got a really good feel for the game. And she's shifty. You know, she's like a little running back. It's hard to tackle, right? Is when she gets in that groove, and I want to kick in that mindset, because I do believe she has the ability to really take over a game when we need it. And I need someone to be able to do that. You know, it's been a long time since we haven't known who was going to do that, right? So I'm still trying to figure out who's going to do that. And when I see those moments, that gives me a lot of excitement. And I think we have some, you know, Emily's got some potential to do that, but your little floor general, you know, she's just the sweetest kid. If I just get her a little bit more, I'm kind of, you know, grr sometimes. I think that's going to be that's going to be our ticket, along with not turning the ball over.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.